who make it there and can make it back.
Salutations and shit, folks. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite travel podcast, Travel and Shit, where I, your host, D. Cori, have an experiential conversation about the nuanced ways that travel intersects with regular life. So we're going to dive right in, because if you're watching on the YouTubes, which if you're not, there's a link in the description of the episode so that you can see my lovely face as well as the face of my lovely guests when I have them. If you're watching, y'all niggas already know I got a guest. So hello, guest. Please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Cori. I am affectionately known around here as CJ from the D. It is something that I kind of wear with pride because I enjoy the fact that I am from Detroit. Everything kind of about me kind of reeks Detroit, and in my opinion, in the best of ways, obviously. I'm a dad, which is pretty tight. I'm a chef, which is pretty tight. And I'm an educator, which is also pretty tight. So I live a pretty cool life, a little hectic, but it's pretty cool. And one thing before we dive like all the way into this, I do want to say, honestly, listening to the last episode, you said some really cool things about my city, man, and I appreciate that. Honestly, because there's this thing where, and Detroit comes up, and the first thing you hear is like 8 Mile and Abandoned Homes.
I've never seen that movie, by the way.
I see that. Thank you. So, it's kind of nice to just hear when people, and it's always a special kind of, it always takes a special kind of person, honestly, to like come into Detroit and just appreciate Detroit for what it is, not any like preconceived, notions they'll have. It's hard not to carry that with you. If you hear a lot about a place, you carry it with you when you get there. But the openness to the place when you get there, that kind of takes it takes a special person. You can come in with blinders on, and you know what I mean. So, absolutely, it was very cool to hear you say some cool things about a place that I think is pretty cool. So
My pleasure.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
And thank you for making Detroit a little bit cooler. If you listen to the episode, y'all would have known. I told y'all I was going to have a guest that I met in Detroit. Yeah. So, the boyfriend has never let me down when it comes to finding places for consumables. Eat, drink, any of it. It's 10 out of 10, always recommend, 100%. So we had checked out of the Airbnb and day was done. And I said, let's grab some, not even day was done. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. So let's grab some coffee. I was going to walk to someplace on the corner. And he's like, no, I found this spot on the, whatever. And I'm like, all right, let's go. He does all the driving. I just sit, look out the window, ask occasional questions. It's a good time. So we pull up, park, and it's in like this really cute kind of, it's definitely residential. I wouldn't necessarily say suburban. It kind of gave me Queensy kind of vibes. Actually, it reminded me of, I think it's not Greenville, Green something. I don't know, some place in Dallas. Mm-hmm. Where did we go I don't know, wherever we went in Texas. I think we were in Dallas. Pretty sure it was Dallas. Anyway, kind of felt like Queens, where it's like, niggas got yards, but at the same time, you're not too far from like commerce. You're not too far from like shit happening. There's a difference, right? You can feel when you're in a forced community, and you can kind of feel like when a community is in the middle of like shit that's going on. So we go into the coffee shop. This nigga's walking out. Almost walked into him because I wasn't paying attention. I was like, oh, my fault. We going in. Held the door. Thanks, brother. Get inside. Actually, oh, it's me. I made the coffee. Oh, go figure. What you like to drink? Because I like coffee, but I don't know much about it. And he's like, well, that was the response. And I'm like, all right, so what we gonna do? We had an impasse.
Yeah.
What do you make well? That is my favorite thing to ask when I go places, whether or not I'm eating there or I'm drinking there. What do you fuck with? It's one thing to have something in the back of your mind, but then if you go there and this person doesn't know how to make it, or if this establishment doesn't frequently do it. If you go someplace anywhere in the fucking world and you just want burgers and fries, but you're on the coast someplace and their specialty is fucking seafood,
Right.
How long has that patty been in the freezer? Did they cook it properly, or are they only used to cooking seafoods and fish and shit like that? So I
Yeah.
always ask for what the special is or what they're good at. He was good at a fucking latte.
Hey.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And it was a bomb ass latte. And you know what else? We also said the cold brew there is really good too. What's
that
this
is
called?
One of my favorites, actually.
The Roost, right?
Yep, absolutely.
The Roost. And what neighborhood was that in?
That's in Woodbridge, so it's kind of a little, maybe a couple blocks west of Midtown. So it's a little more residential than Midtown downtown. Yeah. Yeah.
So
very, very, I'm sorry, very, very dope area. Very historical. That was one of the first areas where, after the urban sprawl and the building of the PJs and whatnot, that was one of the first, just from what I was told from family members, that's just one of the first areas where they remember like driving through the neighborhoods and seeing Black and brown people with big houses. So it's always kind of held that, that standard. And then being that close to a pretty major university, as far as the medical industry is concerned, like you get a lot of Black and brown people that after they, matriculate through college, they'll stay in the area and actually contribute to the area too. So that's what makes it so cool.
What school is over there?
Wayne State University. So it's pretty big deal on the medical scene. And
I've heard of it. I didn't know it was over there.
Yeah, yep. That you were literally right there. So you stayed in the Airbnb at like right at Castalia, which is a pretty dope the scent and bar situation. You were maybe like a half mile away from Wayne State.
Okay.
So you passed it for
Makes
sure.
Sense.
Yeah. So that's kind of why that area looks and feels the way that it does.
Niggas went to school. That's why.
Yeah,
paying these loans off.
Yeah, hello.
I don't got a big house yet. I'm gonna get there. But so we started chopping it up over the coffee, and it turns out you have a food truck.
Absolutely.
I was very disappointed that we didn't get to swing by there, but please let the people know where we will be visiting one day.
Okay, so actually, end of season is actually coming up. I've got the shipping container outside on the spot called the Dequindre Cut. So it's like huge nature trails, mural walls, a lot of local art. There's actually local companies planting, produce out there. There's a farm out there in the middle of.
Oh, cool.
In the middle of this big urban area, which is kind of nestled in downtown. So it's really, really pretty cool. So I do have that there at the Dequindre Cut. And then I also have a food truck that I take to special events and things of that nature. So right now it's football season, so I've got a contract at Michigan State University. I play ball up there, so I got kind of got in touch with some people up there to take the food truck for home tailgates. So that's pretty cool. And then I'll hit a festival or we'll hit a show or a big ball game or something like that. Kind of keeping it. We started off doing a lot of pop-ups. But then people associate you with that person or that brand or that place that you did your guest spot at, and that's not always the greatest for what you want to do. And I learned that the hard way. So then it became like, okay, because the truck was never the plan. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm being completely transparent, the truck was never the plan. The first corner boy was actually, in a liquor store. So
really.
Yeah.
Wait, so you were selling plates out of a liquor store?
Let me tell you, I was selling plates at a liquor store. I told you, I'm Detroit as fuck. Man, I'm trying to tell you. So no, real talk. So I moved back here. Well, actually, if I'm being completely honest, Corner Boy actually started in Atlanta. I spent a few years in Atlanta, and they have a huge problem down there with like recidivism, right? So you get out of jail and you go right back type thing. But then they also have a problem with like convicted felons retaining jobs. And the turnover rate is ridiculous, but the industry that I'm in, the service industry, that seems to be the industry where we'll just take you. You know what I mean? Which is great. So especially for the way that I kind of, made my way into the service industry. I was a high school math and science teacher. And then Detroit public schools, that whole situation, school got closed, and I had my second baby on the way. So it was like, what do you do?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, so anyway, yeah, it's one of those things where like I wanted to. Thank God I was in good positions where I moved out to Atlanta to be T.I. chef at his restaurant, Scales 925. That restaurant closed, and because I kept that relationship open, I ended up getting introduced to Kandi Burruss and that whole family unit. So when she opened up Old Lady Gang, I was the first kitchen manager and chef at Old Lady Gang.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I was just
so,
out there this weekend,
yeah.
and we passed by there, and my cousin pointed it out because I've never watched. I'm not that much into, like, I don't really watch TV. I don't have cable. I canceled cable years ago because
I've
I
never seen the
watch.
show either, so don't. Yeah.
Okay, heard you. So okay, because I'm thinking like, oh, I'm not a miss, like, context. Okay,
neither
cool,
am I.
cool.
Nope.
So interesting. Go ahead. Old Lady Gang.
So,
go continue.
So yeah, then it became one of those things where it's like, okay, I was kind of outgrowing where I was, and I ended up taking a corporate job. And the corporate job was, as you can expect, people think Atlanta and it's so super, super black, but Atlanta's Georgia. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You go 15 minutes the wrong way on the freeway, right?
Yeah.
So I'm working these corporate jobs, and it's a lot of Billies, a lot of non-brown people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was a problem for me because I was seeing, as you matriculate through the kitchen, like I got my degree in biology, right? I didn't go to culinary school, so I did an apprenticeship as a grown man.
Right.
Like,
it's a whole different type of work.
Yeah. After undergrad, after trying to play ball for a few years, after being a teacher, it's like, now I'm at the bottom of the totem pole, so to speak. I started off in the dish tank, you know what I mean? Okay. And actually, the owner of the shop that you came to, the Roost, is one of the guys I did my apprenticeship with, one of my mentors, and he kind of, not kind of, he actually, helped propel me, in the industry. Nice. So, I matriculated, like I said, dish tank pantry, kind of making my way up. But then I noticed as you move into fine dining and you get into corporate work, there's no black chefs. There's black line cooks, there's black dish tank guys, there's black porters, maintenance guys. There's no black chefs, right? Like white coat, I'm in charge of the kitchen. So I ended up getting a couple black guys, hiring a couple black guys at this spot. And they had both.
At which spot? At Old Lady Gang?
Oh no, at the corporate place.
The corporate place.
Old Lady Gang. Yeah. Okay. I ended up hiring two brothers, who were actually in the halfway house. Mm-hmm. And of course, I hired them against the recommendation of the other staff, but ended up being the best thing, right? These guys, they're in a halfway house. They just got out. They're trying to get cleaned up. They need their money. They're going to show up to work.
Yep.
Boom. Right. And then, having certain issues of my own, like I graduated from Butler in Indianapolis private school, but I didn't get to walk across the stage. I was on trial while I was supposed to be walking across the stage.
God damn.
Yeah. So the suit that I was supposed to wear to graduation, I wore to court. Like,
shit.
So, I and then.
And still gotta pay those student loans. God damn.
Oh well, no. See, I played ball, so thank God I didn't have to.
You fucking won. God damn. And with a science degree.
Yeah. Shit. So here's the thing. I had to fucking. I'm from Southwest Detroit. You went there, right? Mm-hmm. I'm from Southwest. I had to take every advantage. Like I went to school. I was like, all right, shit. If ball don't work out, something's gonna work out. You know what I'm saying? So and then after another point in my adult life, I called a pistol charge. So I had enough experience, in the court system. I, as one of my friends would say, I'm the dummy that waited until after I got a degree to go to jail. Like what? Had a whole degree and 2 babies. It was like, you know what I'm saying? But that experience, it gave me something. So. Like I said, I'm in Atlanta. I hired these 2 guys. They're in halfway houses trying to get cleaned up. And I hired a couple more from the same halfway house. Then it's like, wait a second now. All the guys that are my best workers who are staying here the longest, there's no turnover. Like these are, and they all had, felony drug convictions.
Right.
And, at one point, before expungement and, paying money to the state, I had a felony, drug conviction. So they didn't have the luxury of having the degree to say, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that you're savable or that you're worth someone paying attention to or investing in.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I remember I gotten a personal chef gig with a realtor who was trying to sell one of these big houses and was doing a dinner party or whatever. And I brought the guys with me because I didn't have anybody else to bring with me, because who else?
Right.
So I took the guys from the restaurant that I was working at, took them with me, and we rocked the event. It was the way it came off and the compliments that we got. It was like, no, we have to do something. So, like, again, I'm from Southwest Detroit. So when it comes to like naming something, and I got a felony drug conviction, there's 4 guys, so it's like, well, Corner Boy is what it is. You know what I mean? So it was, you know what I mean? It worked. So I was
immediately intrigued.
It was never intended to be pop-up, never intended to be food truck. It was really like, all right, I'm just trying to help some brothers make some money, get out the halfway house, stay out of jail, feel good about what I'm doing, employ some people that look like me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's all it was intended to be. And
then also people want to work with people that look like them. Like I work in a white ass industry, regular work. I'd rather work with more people that work with me. I always prefer when my crew for the day or for whatever, position that I'm on at that time is niggas I fuck with.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, I'm gonna take it a step further. Sometimes it don't even have to be niggas I fuck with. It just has to be niggas.
Yeah. I feel you on that
because here's the thing. The niggas that you don't fuck with, or the niggas that don't fuck with you, y'all know how to coexist in a space where you have to. Yep. Right?
We all trying to get this check. That's it.
That's it.
Fuck your feelings. It ain't about ego. I'm just here to get we ain't here to be friends.
Yeah.
Right, let's make this civil.
I'm not gonna give you the attitude when you ask me for something. I'm not gonna. You already know I don't fuck with you.
Right.
But because you're a nigga, you understand I got other shit going on too.
Yeah.
And, they don't fuck with me even more. So we so it's just one of those things. And then, like I said, with the industry, the industry that I'm in, like, and I keep saying that I'm in when I'm talking to people that aren't in the industry, like it's not every industry, but it's white men, male dominated. And then kitchen culture is traditionally toxic.
Okay.
Right. You know what I mean? There's a lot of down talking and bad mouthing, and there's no filter, and there's blah, 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 which is cool, but enough of that.
Nah.
You get what I'm saying?
I already see where we going with this. I already see where we going. Yep.
So I had to it got to a point where it's like, no, I'm in this industry. This is what I do. Like I always, I used to cook for my frat brothers or teammates and, or the girls in college or whatever, just to, so I always enjoyed it. My granddad was a chef, so I knew a little bit, blah, blah, blah. But once I got immersed into it, it was like, no, okay, same route I went with the teaching. Like, I got to do something that actually means some shit, or I'm going to be miserable doing it. Yep. You know what I mean? Like I'm a human connection motherfucker. I have to feel like I'm pouring into somebody, even if that might be a selfish thing. That might be some type of complex that I got to work out on the back end, right?
I hope
but at
not.
the end of the day,
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not a complex because I get it. Like if it's, go ahead.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like I have to, whatever I'm doing, I have to feel like it's actually, like it matters to somebody other than me. You know what I'm saying? So that when it became a thing, and then you get booked for another gig, and you use the same guys, and then you buy T-shirts and you match them now.
Yeah,
and, you know what I'm saying. So and then I left Georgia, moved back to Detroit because my sons are here, and I went back to the corporate thing, restaurant consultant. I was the executive chef at this restaurant of the year, and blah 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 blah. And then COVID, right? Like, so then it's like, okay, restaurants closed. What do you do? And so Corner Boy was kind of reborn here, and then that's how it became a pop-up thing. And then so it was, like I said, it was never intended to be that. But we were in a liquor store because that's where I wanted to be. I wanted the whole purpose of Corner Boy for me was to bring. I like street food. I go to New York. I like falafel. I go to LA. I like tacos. I go. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just I like to go places and I like the street food. Right.
Okay.
My thing is I wanted to do street food because that's the most approachable for people. You know, I've been in the fine dining scene where I'm charring octopus and I'm doing whatever. And then I tell my homeboys to come to the restaurant, they're like, bro, I'm not eating that.
Got
right?
It.
So the street food thing is the most approachable, but it's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do the street food, but I'm gonna elevate it. I'm gonna give you the best of the ingredients. It's gonna be, reasonably sourced, responsibly sourced, more than likely from a Black or brown farmer or purveyor. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be, it's going to be, I'm not giving you any sauces that were pre-made. Everything's going to be scratch, everything.
Nice.
But it all matters because I grew up in a neighborhood where I wasn't getting that. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a couple little spots. You've seen Southwest. So we had the authentic Mexican spots, and then we had, a little Filipino spot and do whatever. But I'm also from the hood. So we had McDonald's, White Castles.
I was just talking to my coworker about that today. We were looking at the menu for the food truck because a food truck pulls up every Friday, and we were saying, and he said to me, "It's Black people this time. We got catfish, we got po' boys, oxtail." I'm like, "Oh yeah, maybe I'll get something," but I'm looking at the menu, blah blah blah, and I don't know how he got on it, and I was like, I don't have many of these options where I'm at. Where I'm at. If it's not like what not Uber, Uber Eats, Seamless, DoorDash, all of that opened up so many other options for me. Yeah. I can only walk to one soul food spot. I can walk to tacos. I can walk to maybe 5 different Chinese restaurants, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
We don't even got pizza over here no more. But it's cool because it was Papa John's. And I don't fuck with Papa John's. This shit is trash. I don't understand how people eat Papa John's. It just
that's
I fuck with Domino's, but Papa John's, I can't get to it. But that's it. There's nothing else that I can walk to. Oh, my lie. There's actually, I think there's an Indian spot. I think it's like a tandoori spot. I don't know, but looking at the location, I can't really say I would fuck with it anyway. That being said, though. Food desert. I can't even walk to a grocery store without it being like a long walk. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would have to drive. If I walk it, it's like, so you can only bring maybe 2 bags or you can only get light shit because it's like a 10-minute walk. It's a 15-20-minute walk. Is it doable? Yes. I'm sure niggas do it all the time, but I'm not that nigga. I got a car. So I'm also, Jay does all the grocery shopping. God bless him. So beautiful. I love him. But I order everything to the house, but if it weren't for all these delivery services, the shit here is trash. The grocery store here is not, it's not even a good one. They're not good. They're just what we have. So that whole idea of having options for one, but then also shit that's not the same thing. It's like the most options I have is all Chinese food.
Yeah.
The tacos is made by Chinese niggas. They good.
Yep.
They are delicious. My God, love them fucking tacos. But it's still, there's no real diversity in the food over here.
Yeah. And that's, you see it and you're so used to it. But then when you get into the industry and you're like, damn, it actually doesn't have to be like this because this shit's by design. You know what I'm saying? Like it really the fuck is. And it just takes people being intentional about like putting some shit where it's supposed to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at some of these neighborhoods and you're like, well, I can't think of a better group of people that, that could use a fresh produce market more. If you really look at it, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not next to the fields. Why are there more Whole Foods in the burbs and places closer to where you can plant stuff than there are in the city? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't even think about it like that. Y'all niggas got dirt. Like,
you got dirt and
dirt
grass
that can
and
produce
space.
stuff.
You got dirt, grass, and space over there. Meanwhile, we got buildings on top of sidewalks, on top of people. You know what I'm saying?
And dusty ass trees, right?
And you feel me? And then you go into the grocery store, and this is I can't speak for New York, obviously, because I go as a visitor, and when I go visit places, I just be visiting, right?
Right.
So, so, I'm not one of those people who's like, yeah, man, I've been there, man. I can tell you all about it because I can't. I can tell you about what I did. You know
I
what I'm
spent 2
saying?
days in Detroit. It was
You
a nice
feel
2
me?
days.
So-
That's it.
So I don't know how it is in New York, but here there's this thing, and I've noticed it in Atlanta. Not so much out west, but there's this thing where the people who own the businesses are not a reflection of the community that the businesses are in, right?
At all.
And there's a certain mistreatment that they just fucking get away with because where else are you going to go?
Right.
You live around here, you're relying on public transportation, you've got kids or what the fuck ever. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go to the closest thing to you, right? Like I had an ex-girlfriend, you know, I'm looking at lofts and I'm looking at cribs and she's like, I need some place with a good walk score. I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? And it's
a walk store. I thought you said a walk store. I'm like, what the fuck is a walk store?
No,
a walk store. She ain't wrong.
Yeah.
She ain't wrong.
But I feel you, and she's not wrong because now I'll be but the thing is though, like, what about those communities that, like, you know what I mean? They don't have good walk scores, or they're not.
Yeah.
They're consistent of people who don't have the luxury of picking their residents based on walk scores.
Right.
Right. So there's a certain amount of mistreatment that goes on. Like, for example, there's a gas station. I'm in the hood, right? I'm a hood book, so I don't care what's happening. Like, if I'm in Michigan, my address is going to say Detroit. It's not going to say Oak Park or Southfield or blah, blah, blah. And I say that now as an unmarried man, so that may change. But so I like being in the hood. I like neighborhoods. I like blocks where somebody's been on the block 40 years and that kind of thing, right? So I'm in the hood. You go off in the hood, boom, boom, gas station, whoop. And the premium gas is $6.69, right? Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah. But
you got heavy.
So not only so I'm gonna give you the rundown. The premium gas is $6.69. And
you said premium. Hold on, I don't even drive a premium car. It's cool. Wait, that's still a lot.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, I'm a Detroit nigga. I got an old school caddy. I got a '96 caddy, so I can't do. Yeah,
I got a '72. It ain't my everyday car. My daddy bought it for my birthday. Hi, Dad. I've never driven it. Also, I think I was too scared. It's not a Cadillac. It's a '72. It's a Nova.
Oh shit!
It's a Nova black.
Yo, hi, Dad, because you did your thing.
It's sitting in his house. We call ourselves redoing it together.
Yeah.
And he did all the work. All I did was, but what was cool, I got to wear the little welding mask and I welded the
oh hell yeah.
The like the nuts or the bolts. Wait,
yeah.
The nut is the bolt. No, the bolt. Which one is, I don't know which is which, the nut or the bolt. I welded the screw off.
Boom.
And that was cool. And then I had to, because like, give me the grunt work, and then I like sanded down the floor and stuff, so that, and then painted with the spray paint, so that it was a Fred Flintstone car. It had no floor on like the passenger seat. Like I could see the cement, like the street. It was like it was like there was like a hole. It was a hole, and like you had to put your feet on. It was a good time. But he fixed it. It's good. But we good for classic cars over here.
That's how it goes. So you get it. But I can't. So I can't put nothing. I can't put nothing but premium in that big tank.
And I done fucked it up and put some regular in.
See, no, that's when. Then it's not gonna ride. The caddy not gonna ride right. The Nova not gonna ride right. So
glad you mentioned it.
Fucking $6.69 premium gas. Half the stuff on the shelf is expired. No bullshit. You go to the ATM machine. They haven't wiped that motherfucker down in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? The self-serve coffee station is shit everywhere. It's flies.
Right.
It's blah 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 blah. Right, but it stays busy.
Yep.
It's jumping 24 hours a day. That motherfucker's jumping. Right. Why can't you treat those people better? You can. You don't have to.
Right.
So you don't.
Because you don't have to.
You see what I'm
and
saying?
That's the fucked up thing about it.
You see what I'm saying? So like I come from those neighborhoods. I currently live in those neighborhoods. I gravitate towards those neighborhoods for some reason, whatever. And that's always been my thing, is like the communities that I relate to, come from, grew up in, whatever. We're so used to just like, okay, here you go. And then we take it because what the fuck else are we going to do? You know what I mean? And at some point, like somebody's got to like, no, hey, guess what? We can actually, you know what? We can actually do something different, bro.
There's another way.
There's another fucking way. And it doesn't take a lot, right? It just takes like intention. I almost burned myself on the instant. It takes, it just takes intention. And there's not, it's the weirdest thing. And I don't know if it's like, I'm about to be 36, I'm a dad, I'm whatever. I don't know if I'm getting soft or whatever, but it's like, I really just want us to have better where we are. Like, I'm glad everybody's getting passports now and traveling and blah, blah. I'm a road trip person myself. I'm a car driving road trip person myself. So I feel you on that. But I'm glad everybody's doing that. But you shouldn't have to leave the block to get quality experience when it's quality people all up and through that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I guess that honestly is with everything that I'm doing. I mean, with everything that I've done in my adult life, from, you know, choosing not to go to private schools and go teach in a public school or a charter school in the middle of the hood, or go to a school where we got all the displaced kids, or, you know what I mean? The thing with, you know, my reason for starting Corner Boy, or the dinner parties that I curate now, like everything for me is really just about like giving us some better shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, just giving us some better shit, because I don't have the people I know, my friends, my homies, my, you know, neighbors, whatever. Ain't nobody got the money to be going out of town every weekend.
Nope.
Right. So like, what am I going to do? Not have a good experience,
right?
But 2-3 times a year. You know what I mean? Or a quality experience, or not know, like, my favorite thing to do right now is cook some shit for somebody that they're used to having, you know, eating.
Right.
And actually making it the way that if you made it with the proper ingredients and the blah, 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 blah. Like one of the dinner parties that I'm doing next season, it's a guilty pleasures dinner party. So I'm like taking a lot of the stuff that people like from McDonald's and White Castle, and here Coney Island is a big deal. But I'm doing it like,
which was wild to me, because I'd never heard of there being a Coney Island anywhere other than Brooklyn. I was just like, wait, because he kept saying Coney's, and I'm just like, it's up to something. And I'm like, Coney Island. I'm like,
mm-hmm. And you went to Dooley's, which was cool. Don't get me wrong. If you're gonna have the other Coney's, that was one of the top places to go.
Okay.
But
that's only because Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, of course.
That's his nigga. He love him some Anthony Bourdain.
I do too. I absolutely do too. And I actually do what y'all do too. Like, if I'm in a city and I remember from one of the shows that, okay, he's been here, I go there. Yeah. And
we gonna check it out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm that guy too. So
what's the other place?
I feel y'all on that. I'm sorry?
What's the other place? You was gonna say someplace else to get them?
Oh yeah, any of the black ones. So I mean, that's not trying to be funny, that's just being for real. Right. You know, beef hot dogs.
It looked like some shit a nigga would do. Cause I'm looking at it and I'm like,
come on, son. Like,
okay.
And then if you go to a real Coney Island, a Coney Island menu is it's like the hood cheesecake factory, right? It's too much shit.
That's immediately where my mind went. It's just like we don't need all these options. That's why I hate it there, because I'm
just
very
too much shit.
indecisive.
It's too much shit, right? And then for me, it always goes to, well, if you're doing all this, what you actually good at, bro? Like, because you're not good at 75 things. You get, but the cool thing about the hood Coney Islands, so Coney Islands in the hood are like black as fuck, but there's a huge Middle Eastern population in Detroit as well.
Okay.
And Metro Detroit, actually Dearborn, which is 10 minutes outside of Detroit, has the largest Middle Eastern population in the country. Like they here. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. But the Coney Islands, so the Coney Islands are like, it's like a mix between hood nigga shit, Greek food, and Middle Eastern food. So the menu is like, right, but you gotta go to the ones in the hood that are ironically owned by the Middle Eastern or the Greek cats, but run by the black ones.
Copy. Okay.
So, that's just from when you come back. There's a few specific ones, a couple that that we'll explore. But even with that, like, that's the thing. I'll take some Coney Island food, and I'll do it in a way that's actually fresh ingredients and blah, 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 blah. And seeing people's reaction, like, damn, this is what this shit's supposed to taste like? Yes.
Right.
That's what it's supposed to taste like. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So and I hate to sound corny because I'm not like I'm not trying to be like no food superhero or nothing like that, right? I just really
it could use it.
I mean, and they could, but I just really like, and this is gonna sound bad because I know you have listeners of all shades and backgrounds, and I'm cool. I'm not a discriminatory guy. I fuck with whatever. But right now I'm just really focusing on brown, right? And I care about like what we're doing, man. Like I'm tired of seeing. I had a homeboy, pass away like 2-3 months ago. Health related shit. You know what I mean? Health related shit, diet related shit. You know what I mean? And then when you actually break some shit down and you realize that, around 70% of, stomach illness, high blood pressure, stomach cancers, that kind of thing are food related and can be reversed even after diagnosis.
Oh, wow.
Can be reversed by just changing your fucking diet. Like honestly, just changing your diet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, like eat to live. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like for real. And the thing that has me so bent is like I grew up really misunderstanding food. Like my relationship with food was kind of like my relationship with money. I've had to change those two relationships so drastically in my adulthood. You know what I mean? It's like, of course I know I needed food, right? I liked certain things, and I liked the things that worked good for me, and blah 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 blah. But there's always this thing where it's like eating good is either going to be nasty or it's going to be boring or it's going to cost a lot, which is a thing. Because if you go into these markets, you go into Whole Foods. You go into Whole Foods, we call that shit whole check up here. You go in the whole check. You go in the
because it fucking is.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think I went one time. I was like, this ain't sustainable.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't come back.
It would have you believe that, like, damn, in order to eat like I got some sense, I gotta make 6 figures. And it's not that, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really, really not that. It's not a super costly thing. It's not a difficult thing. It's not even a boring thing. Like, if you think about this shit, right? Like, we grew up, I won't speak for you, but me and my people, we grew up, you grab some shit, you throw some seasoning on it, blah, 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 blah. That seasoning is like made of stuff, right? Like, why not put the stuff on there? Like, why am I using garlic powder when I can just sweat down some garlic?
I feel personally attacked.
No, I'm just saying because that's like
it makes perfect sense because that's exactly that's how I cook.
Right.
I cook
so
like
my thing is
season the fuck out of it.
I played baseball, right? Like I played college baseball, and obviously I played in in elementary, middle school, high school, whatever. I'm from the hood, so there's a lot of
started paying attention to baseball, by the way.
Go
Mets, gang. I had no concept. I hated baseball. Hated it.
Really?
I have been to so many actual pro baseball games. I've only been to I can sit through, I would prefer to sit through football or basketball because I moderately have an understanding of what's going on. Basketball, I get it. I understand how it's played. I get it. Do I know all the technical shit? No, I fucking don't. However, I understand the rules so that I understand where we are as the game's being played. Football, I ended up, I was bartending for a while and we had it on Wednesdays. So shout out to Mars. He explained what the fuck was going on. So after a while, I knew what the lines meant. I knew what a first down was. So I was like, I'm in it. Baseball didn't do it for me. It was boring as fuck. I didn't, and someone said, I think it was Kelly. Shout out to Kelly, RIP. He said, it's because you don't know what's going on. If you understood what was happening, it would be way more interesting. I promise you. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
And this nigga lives baseball. He fucking loves it. So it's, you try to be a good partner. I do too. You try to, be a good partner. And you're like, all right, well, if you like it, we're going to watch it. And so I'm doing other shit. But then it's just like, oh, so somebody they have coaches. They're base coaches. So that's what all those people are there. So they don't have to pay it. So there's someone that is telling them keep going or stop.
Yep.
I'm intrigued. So now I fuck with it. Like I kind of know what's going on. And quietly, my entire family is a baseball, and nobody was before. Look at us now.
Baseball is one of those things where you got to understand the game within the game to have an appreciation.
The thinking man's game, they say.
Yeah, and see, man, and that's why I fuck with it. So like, okay, so Pete, so I played baseball, and then my dad married a white woman. Go figure. So.
Hi, white lady.
Yeah, white lady. And I don't fuck with neither one of them. So no, it is not. Damn, that's crazy. And I'm not that guy, but I just don't like her. I don't like her. So anyway, so I move into, I leave the hood with my mom, and I move to Ann Arbor. And that sounds like it's not the hood. I moved to Ann Arbor, and I move in with my dad, my mixed race dad, and my white stepmom, right? And it's dinner time, and we're in the kitchen, and I'm seeing shit on her counter that I've never seen in my fucking life, right? There's this little granite bowl, and then there's this little, at the time, this is how I'm thinking, this little granite bowl, and there's this thing in it that looks like you mash shit and you blah, 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 right? And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Then there's like a mallet, then there's like some blah, 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 right? And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is she about to do? Like, because I know she's not about to cook, because this shit's crazy, right? And then she uses everything. I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck? And then I'm realizing after a couple of times, I'm like, okay, well, that was garlic, that was salt, that was blah, blah, blah. I'm used to just going to the store and grabbing the thing with the garlic salt with the blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, shit. This is the, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
a little light bulb.
But I didn't grow up with that.
Right.
Right? My stepsister grew up with that. I'm painting a picture here.
I'm following. I'm on board. I get it.
You know what I'm saying? So like, my relationship with food was really fucking crazy. It was a lot of like instant gratification. It was a lot of shortcuts, or what I perceived to be a shortcut, right? Or what I perceived to be, some whack shit, just to put it frankly. Like I was talking to a friend of mine not too long ago, and we were just talking, I'm like, man, why don't you go to the store and just grab the shit and woo, woo, woo. He's like, man, I'm gonna just grab this packet Anybody trying to buy all them vegetables and shit. I'm like, why am I about to cook all this meat with vegetables? I'm like, nigga, you're throwing seasoning on it that's made of vegetables or made to taste like vegetables. Why don't you just use the vegetables, bro?
I mean, in defense, bro, it's a lot of extra steps, man. I am not a cook.
Here's the thing.
I'm gonna
keep it a buck with you. It's really not. It's just really the fuck not.
Sure.
I'm positive. I'm so positive. Like this is something that I stand on, right?
Okay. Like this should help. Go for it.
You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. It's really not the same amount of time. Because here's the thing. When you season your joint, right? Mm-hmm. You don't season it at the end and just slap it on the wok and then start eating it, right? You season it and allow that motherfucker to cook with the seasoning on it.
Right.
You know what else could be cooking while that stuff is cooking?
Yes, I guess a fucking vegetable.
Or you know what I'm saying? Or just whatever. Like it's really like, and then if you really get, and maybe this is where the very specific passion or even purpose comes into play. But if you just like food is fucking pretty, dog. Like if you
but only after it's done.
Nah, no, it's prettier before it's done because when you're seeing it in its natural, all these colors, like the colors, yo. Like I'm a big color dude, right? Like, and there's so many different colors on a plate. It's really like that to me, I understand. I know why they call it culinary art because of the blah blah blah. But to me, that's what the art is in the culinary shit. Is like, look at all these colors, man. Look at how I'm putting this shit together. Look at how this green is. You know what I mean? Like it's really, I don't know, man. It's I might be a dork. But it's
because I think what this is making me think of. I had a little stint where I tried to be vegan. It didn't last long. So it was a good time, but a short time. And the only reason why I will say it was a good time is because during that time, oddly enough, I did it during Thanksgiving. Like I think Thanksgiving Day was like my first or second day deciding to be vegan. Wasn't that difficult because it was new, it was exciting, it was fun. I was with the shits. I bought a little cookbook, the whole thing. And what was wild was that, and this is not shade to you, Ma. Love you down. Never heard of mad shit in there. Like there, and I think that for the longest time, I had such a complex around eating healthy because I had no idea how many options were there. Like I had no clue that there were until Jay, I had no, that's a partial lie. Coleman Teitelbaum. He actually put me on to Brussels sprouts being good. My mom would just boil them. So to me, Brussels sprouts were like peas. I hate peas, won't eat them. But Brussels sprouts were really like big peas to me. Wouldn't eat them until I had them prepared in a way that was actually flavorful. And so between having things prepared in way and now that I'm an adult, I get why my mom was very routine. Chicken, rice, vegetables, chicken, rice, vegetables, chicken, rice, vegetables. That's to my memory, because I'm sure she'll remember quite a few different meals. She tried some stuffed peppers. Every once in a while, we had a little Stouffer's, the little frozen lasagna and shit. So she razzle-dazzled it here and there. But for the most part, it was just chicken, rice, and vegetables. And it was like dry, it was string beans with like 3 tablespoons of onion powder in there, because how else you get frozen ass string beans to really taste like something in 2 minutes? You know what I mean? Like you worked all day, you come home, and so you're trying to just get it done. So I will absolutely appreciate my mom for not giving us fucking frozen fish sticks every day, but it was still like the same things on repeat. And so I had no real scope of reference for just the sheer number of fucking vegetables there are so many options and alternatives to meat that are actually good if you prepare them the right way. If you season, I'll never forget, I dated this one dude that was vegan, and I did not, first of all, he was white. So I didn't expect anything this nigga made to taste good at all. When I tell you that was some of the best food I have had before Jay, because my man cooked his ass off. Because he's going to edit this. Love you. Your food is the best, hands down. But before that, I had never had like, because it was up to me to feed myself, but it was just, right. I'm not a cook. I can cook, but Christmas is my jam. I can do a Christmas meal, but if you try to tell me to Monday through Friday, and it's same as my mom, she will bust down Christmas. I have never had a bad Christmas. Christmas food has always been fucking out over the moon. But Monday through Friday, it's just, I want to go to sleep. I just want to eat so that I can now go to sleep and get up and go to work the next day. So I get it. When you don't have a lot of things that you are choosing from to make, if you don't have the fresh ingredients to put in with your meat, like I will say they would do like onion. When they would like bake the chicken, they would slice up the onion every once in a while. You slice up a pepper in there and put it in there. And it's like, we could taste the difference, but it's just like, nobody really wanted to, it's time. It was a timing thing. So I get why people like take the shortcuts, but I also see why people will get on that hill and die on that hill of, you could just put an actual onion in there, right?
Yeah. But you know what though? And I hate to be this guy, but the shit that you said was so fucking layered, right? Like, and I know you were just, having recall and going through whatever, but in real life, there was a lot. So, Jesus, oh my God. Okay, so I saw this article not too long ago, and by not too long ago, I mean like it wasn't like a decade ago. I was an adult. I had children, so it was within the last 5 years.
Copy.
Where it said like the happiest is like America's happiest wage, right? America's happiest salary, right? And it said that range of 75 to 90 was like the happiest people, right? Like when they surveyed them, that was, when people talked about the quality of their life. And then at the end, when they asked, well, how much do you make, by the way? That was the $15,000 window, right? 75 to 90, right? So you break that. The first thing I think about, like, damn, 70,000. Okay. Who's making 70? Who's the biggest group of people making 70,000 plus, right? It's not the single mom. It's not and I'm not even just talking about motherfucking the black single mom. It's not the single mom,
right?
For the most part, you know what I'm saying? Like just real talk. And then my second thought was, okay, that's per person. You enter 2-income households. That's one. You know what I'm saying? That's 150. That's 150 to 180. That's completely different. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm thinking about like, damn, what do the majority of those households look like? Then you look at the other articles that are telling you what those households look like, and you're like, okay, it's making a little sense, right? But then I'm thinking about, like you were saying, I'm being biased now by dying on that hill of make your own shit, right? Partially because I have the know-how, and partially because I see the difference and I know the difference, right? But it also comes from a place of being able to do it now, right? Because I grew up in the house with just my mom, right? Minus the 2 years that I lived with my dad and that white lady, and could easily see the difference, right? Like even in the way, and I hate to go all the way here, but I'm thinking because you were talking about time and then your mom and work and blah blah blah. So I'm getting pictures of my mom and I'm drawing those parallels, right? So even in the way my mom would get up for work, like have to get up, do her thing first, then get me up, then finish getting her shit together, then head to work, come home from work. Thank God I played ball, so I stayed after school a lot. So she had a little bit more time, blah, 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 blah. And then there was whatever. But I'm thinking about the time. But at that time, in real time rather, we're at 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening now. You know what I'm saying? That's dinner time. Is my mom really about to clean some produce and blah, blah, blah?
Right.
Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? But we got to eat, and it's got to be delicious because my mama can burn. So
right.
you know what I mean? I ain't even gonna front. Kandi get down, boy. Kandi get down. Now that she's a grandmother, she gets down when she wants to. But she like my mama can burn though. So, but that's why like those Sunday meals my mom made. Don't get me wrong, Monday through Friday, Friday, Saturday was probably, pizza, you know what I mean? So that was, you know what I mean? Grab some pizza, grab some burgers, because who the fuck cooking again type shit, right? But Monday through Friday, cool. Sustenance, tastes good, never missed a meal, woo woo, right? Sunday, when she had a little bit more time,
right?
Boom. Holidays, boom. That's why, you know what I mean? Like that's really, if we keep it in the buck, that's really why a lot of us get excited about the holiday shit.
Yeah.
It's the food, but it's like,
me.
When else do your mom and your auntie and blah, 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 all got enough time in the day, all off work that day to blah, 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 to make the shit to woo, 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 right? So it's the time. But if you go back, and I'm backtracking to that 75 to 90, to that 150 to 180, right? They're not leaving out the door in the morning with as much speed to not be late to get to work, to blah, 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 blah. The jobs are different, the roles are different, the check is different, responsibilities are different, that kind of thing, right? There's also like, my mom was, hey, pull the chicken out because I'm working a couple hours overtime. Because it's the end of October and Christmas, she ain't trying to not have none of that motherfucker. So you see what I'm saying? Like there's a difference. So that's a couple more hours where she ain't got the time to blah, 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 blah. So maybe, and then, we got the big meal, Thanksgiving and Christmas. So maybe real shit, maybe November, parts of December, it's a little bit more fast food. It's a little bit more, hey, make yourself something, boy. It's a little bit more. You about to get
something good soon, like you be all right this week.
You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, I made some spaghetti or some chili and you cool for 2-3 days. Type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a very, 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 very different fucking world than, and I wasn't really trying to go all the way there, but I'm listening to you break that shit down and I'm having the same, painting the same picture, just with a different mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, because my mom there was a time where I thought I was going to turn into a bird. Because it was chicken, it was fried chicken, it was baked chicken. And it was one time where like my mom actually came and she's like, I'm sorry. I'm in high school. She's like, look, I'm sorry. I done probably chickened you to death. My first 2 years of undergrad, I don't think I touched the fucking piece of chicken. Like
niggas love some fucking chicken, yo.
You know what I'm saying? My first time.
We can always get it though.
Here's the thing. You go to the motherfucking markets, the price point, cool.
Yep.
You can throw a little snaz on it. You can eat it with a salad. You can eat it with some potatoes.
You can do so much with it.
You can bake it. You can fry it. You know what I'm saying?
Saute it. You can stew it.
You can roast it. You can stew that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
You could grill it.
You could grill it, right? But there's so many motherfucking things that those two worlds don't. That 75 to 90, that 145 to, that 150 to 180 versus like how I grew up versus how it sounds like closer to how maybe you grew up too without that time, right? Even I have friends that, and don't get me wrong, I'm not, because what I'm not going to do is help, create the narrative or help strengthen the narrative of like, niggas had no daddies. Most of my friends had 2-parent households, right? So it's not even that. It's that like, okay, look at the differences in lifestyles. Look at the differences in paychecks. Look at the differences in what they used to call socioeconomical status, whatever. Like look at the differences in neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's if you had a Whole Foods, if you grew up with a Whole Foods, right? If you grew up with a Whole Foods, minus that price point, but if you grew up with a Whole Foods, if you grew up walking into a place seeing more produce than boxes,
right.
You're
I'd have
gonna
had
grow up.
quinoa before I was 25.
Do you
I'd have known what
understand?
the fuck it was.
Do you
I had no
understand what
clue.
I'm trying to tell you? No,
I
for
think
real,
YouTube
yo.
told me.
No, I got to, and this is even after undergrad. Like, you're dealing with people of all backgrounds and blah blah blah. You got a white homeboy for the first time. You do whatever, right? And you're eating with their family and da 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 da. And it's like, yo, I remember I found out what it wasn't. You said quinoa and it rung a bit. I don't think it was quinoa. It was something along those couscous.
Ah,
That's what it was. I'm like, yo, what is this? White homeboy grew up on it. I said, yo, you this not new?
you want to know something wild? So I have learned so much about food with this man. And even like, because his parents are the most go out to eat motherfuckers that I know. They will always invite, hey, you want to meet us for dinner, whatever. And when I listen to them talk about food and they talk about here and they've been here and they do this, like just a different restaurant, like they have restaurants that they go to and he's got restaurants. He's like, yeah, we've been going there since I was a kid and blah, blah, blah. So their conversation around food also encompasses a lot of shit that I've never heard of. Funny story. So I was semi-grown. I might have been, I don't know. I was old enough that I should have known better. We were at a group dinner. We were out in Sag Harbor. It was my mom, a bunch of my aunts, and like my cousins. And this was all extended family. And we were actually at one of B. Smith's restaurants. And we're sitting there, we're looking at the menu, and my mom knows where I'm going with this. So I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, what kind of fish is filet mignon? And it was like a record stop moment. And my aunts, I saw both of them, Aunt Tina and Aunt Karen, look up. And Aunt Karen was like, the kind that's a cow, baby. And so I was like,
yo,
that face. And I was like, okay. So then it was like a moment where everybody's laughing. And I'm like, I didn't feel like I was low-key embarrassed. But at the same time, then I'm looking at my mom like, you over there laughing, but like, where I been? Where have you taken me? Like, I'm at this bigly age of maybe like 16 or 19. And it was just like, all this time, I know what the fuck. And I promise you, I've probably had one before. My daddy will grill all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
In February, this nigga will be out in the snow. Baby girl, you want a steak or you want something? You want burgers? I'm gonna get out there on the grill because the steak's right there on the porch. So he will go out. My dad will always grill. He's there. But I had no fucking clue. Even to this day where I'm eating or I'll be out with his parent, like with boyfriend and his parents, and we're looking at the menus and I have to still ask him at 37. I'm like, what is this? I don't know what this is. Will I like this? What's this? Even like ingredients and drinks, because when I was bartending in the fucking hood. The best of the best for us was a Coco Loso. Niggas came in there, asked for other shit, and I just be like, all right, well, what's in it? If you can't tell me what's in it, and if this app don't have what's in it, you're gonna have to drink something else, ma'am. I don't know. Promise you, old chick over here, she probably don't know. So whatever this fancy shit is, we're not there. You know what I mean? So we're not wherever you've had that. So there's so many things that I still have no clue about. And it's not because my parents ain't love me. It's not because, niggas ain't never did nothing nice for me. But it's just like, for me, the best time, like fine dining, was Red Lobster.
Yep.
And that was only like the most special of special occasions because I got a brother. It's me, my mom, my dad. And then it would always be like my grandparents would always come with us. So that's 6 people that we all like. So like $25 a head might be reasonable because niggas got bills. You know what I mean? And Not because there's just so much. There's so many things that are still so foreign, and it's just because they're new to me. Not because I don't eat this, I don't eat that. I'll eat anything for the most part, especially if I'm not fucking paying for it. I will absolutely try it. But it's one of those things where if you don't have the exposure to it, or you don't know, like we don't have all those options at our grocery stores. When we go in, there'll be some relatively, like, there may be some ethnic options, like you'll have definitely like the different plantains, you'll have your different bananas, you'll have your different all of that. Just like the Caribbean, like they're gonna cover most of those bases. We're gonna be able to get what it is you're looking for in those types of dishes. But just in terms of, I don't know, beans other than red and black, and the like the chickpeas, I didn't know what chickpeas was till I was grown. I never had them. I didn't know chickpeas and garbanzo beans was basically the same thing. If you ask me, like I'm thinking that, and I'm looking at them like, am I fucking up? Because I know I don't really know too much, but I'm looking at them and I'm like,
you're not.
So it's see, just that you don't know.
That's my thing. I'm an actual real life chef. I didn't have beets. I'm 35. I'll be 36 in a couple of weeks. I didn't have beets.
Happy early birthday! I love birthdays.
I didn't have beets until I was asked to make some.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing: if I walked into my local grocer and saw beets every day, eventually I would have been, let me see what the fuck this beet tastes like.
Yeah.
Eventually I would have had it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing.
Or if the ones you had access to actually look like something. If the shits ain't look like they was dead before they got here,
then you would have. You see what I mean? That whole bit, and it's fucked up. It's really, really fucked up. But like a lot of my, what I'm doing right now is based around, in a nutshell, the correlation between food, money, and education.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like there's I know some people who, when I say live off the fat of the land, you know what I'm saying? Because they have the space and they have the blah, 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 and it costs them nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know what I mean? It's information. It's really, if you remove money from a lot of this shit, right? If we, myself and people that I know, weren't from or in communities where there wasn't as much money flowing around, we would have obviously had access to more things. That access to more things would have gave us more information, more, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's like, it's a fucking domino effect thing, right? So there is a direct it's not direct. The correlation may not be direct, but there is a correlation between money and fucking food.
It absolutely is.
You know what I'm saying? And information and fucking money and information and fucking food. You see what I'm saying? Like so when you kind of like bust all that shit down, and realize that, and I hate to just be as frank as this, but I tell people all the time, it don't take all that.
Yeah.
It really don't take all that. I've been at places, the head chef at places specifically here that have won Restaurant of the Year, right? Like I've been in a competition judged by Martha Stewart and won that motherfucker, right? Like there's a thing where it's like, and beat the chef that fired me a few years back. So
hey, anyway, that shit feel good. That's a smooth fuck you.
Yeah, smooth, super smooth. It was fucking phenomenal. But my favorite thing is, so I went to, it's crazy as shit. So this time last year, I was actually not in Detroit. I was in Grand Rapids, and I was working at this restaurant called the Sovingard. Very dope spot, owned by a very, very dope Caucasian man. Rick, I don't know if you're ever going to see anything this brown, but I'm gonna send it to him because Rick will watch this. Rick will fuck with you. You know what I mean? Rick
really is cool. Good, Rick.
Yeah, Rick is cool. Rick's solid. And but it was a farm to table restaurant, right? And I remember I'm having this interview with this dude, and I'm sitting in my car, parked in an alley, but just stepped out of one of my pop-ups to have this fucking executive chef interview in my car, like wilding. Had to drive to the chicken spot to connect to the Wi-Fi, like crazy shit. Like
found a way though. You made it happen.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking to this farm to table ass, you know what I mean, fucking Nordic concept ass, so far removed from where I'm from type shit, right? But the thing that I appreciated was like, obviously after I got the job and whatever, I started working with them, and I always my dignity and simplicity, right? Like, you're never going to be better than as a chef, you're never going to be better than your ingredients, right?
Okay.
Whatever's there is going to be the fuck there, and that's what it's going to taste like. And I don't give a fuck what you do, my dog. You're not going to be better than your ingredients, right?
Okay.
But we're doing this super complex shit, and it's 5 to 7 ingredient bills, 5 to 7 things making up this $40 plate.
Okay.
Right? That is like the fucking living proof of it don't fucking take all that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a way to, but the only way we could do that is he had information. I had a certain amount of working knowledge. So there's the information. We had the access. We were in a certain part of the state. You know, Michigan is one of the prettiest fucking states in the country. Like, I've done, as far as seasonal availability of like produce and even proteins and certain shit like that. Outside of California, Michigan's right there, number 2, as far as
Never
like
known.
Yeah, I mean, potatoes. McDonald's buys potatoes from Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, potatoes, apples.
I would thunk it'd be motherfucking Idaho.
You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking apples. This is the cherry capital of the country.
Really?
Like,
I like cherries. I didn't know. What?
Yes, cherries, apples, potatoes, all that shit, right? Like, it's funny, you were talking about Domino's. You like Domino's. Domino Farms is 30 minutes outside of Detroit.
I didn't know them niggas had a farm.
Hello. You see what I'm saying? Like, that again, all of that shit, right? So that's the thing. Like, I was in a certain part of the state where, there would be some times where like my purveyor would get the fish. By the time he got the fish, that motherfucker only been dead 3-4 hours.
Shit.
And ain't been touched, right? But you live on not the west side of Michigan, but the west side of Detroit. You're not getting that same fucking fish, my dog.
Yeah.
Right? You don't even know how to get that motherfucking fish.
Yeah.
Because ain't no fucking farmers by you. Right? You know what I'm saying? So access, information, right? So it's like, it's a weird ass thing when you start moving in those circles and realizing like, okay, I'm managing a kitchen that's grossing $3.5 million, right, a year in food sales. Our average plate is about $35, right?
It's a lot of plates.
Right? A lot of plates. But it really only cost me like $8 to make that plate.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's you didn't pay for the labor, you didn't pay for the plate that it's sitting on, you didn't pay
the skill for somebody to actually make the $8.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, so when you start busting all that shit down, and then you realize like, I've had white homeboys who weren't making, who didn't come from families that were making too much more money than my mom was or my family was, but they were in a different part of the state.
Yeah.
That had access to different shit. That had, you know what I mean? So it's like, or they were just on the other side of 8 Mile and had access to different shit. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest thing right now, is to like show motherfuckers, man, like it don't take all that, yo. It really don't take all that. You can you can do some good, fly, healthy, shit, some with some sustenance, all that shit, and not break your fucking back. You know what I'm saying? Physically or financially.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's whether or not you have access to it. And another thing is, I
or
find
the information.
that in the fucking hood, they want to wild charge you for the shit that is not going to kill you. It's
Absolutely.
like the stuff that's
Absolutely.
like, I feel like you can go, even in terms of just food available late night.
Yeah.
If you work the night shift, or if you work overnight and you get off at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Oh my God.
And the two grocery stores by you are closed or almost closed, or if it's out of your way to get there, then what the fuck you gonna do but order some shit? Yeah. You're gonna pick up whatever's open. You're gonna stop by somebody's drive-through, grab and go to fuck home because you just fucking worked all day. It's again by design. You know what I mean? Like if you were closer to things that were sustainable in the sense that won't fucking kill you, then you would likely make better decisions with the foods that you eat. It shouldn't be hard to do right by yourself, but there are so many different ways that it is more difficult to do the right thing. It's like that. I don't know where the sentiment came from, but it was something like, self-care isn't always the fun stuff. It's not always the pretty things. It's not always bubble baths. It's not always manis and massages and shit like that. Yeah. But self-care is making sure like you don't rush yourself to early grave. Like it's taking care of yourself in ways that you eat well. You know what I mean? It's just like everything shouldn't be fucking frozen. Everything shouldn't be out of a box. And it can be difficult, but what I have found, and the one thing that I will say is a privilege, is that I actually can do Amazon Fresh. I can get fresh produce delivered to the house. You know what I mean? It's just like my best friend, God bless her, she's in fucking Kentucky, like in Bubblefuck, Kentucky at that. She's not in about to say Nashville, but that's in Tennessee. But that's her. I think actually I feel like Nashville might actually be closer to her than Louisville. I don't know. Oh, wow. But either way, she's not in. Or is it? No, I might be wrong. They might actually be equidistant. I don't know. Either way, she's in a very small town, so she can't do Amazon Fresh. So she has to always get up and go to the store. If it was me, I wouldn't fucking eat. I'm not even exaggerating because before, boyfriend, like I would just do boiled eggs for dinner. And it's not because I don't have a kitchen full of food. I just don't enjoy it. I'm tired. I don't want to cook anything. I don't want, there's no joy in it for me. So I'm going to do whatever the fuck is easiest for me. And I'll eat 6 boiled eggs. I don't eat the yolks because I don't particularly care for them. However, that's different. Okay. That I will only eat them if they're cooked, as if they're not cooked in boiled eggs, but I will only eat them if they're like scrambled or if it's like fried egg or a poached egg. But something about a boiled egg yolk just doesn't fucking do it for me. I can't. A
little salt and pepper, man.
I will, oddly enough, if I would stop at like a food truck. Shout out to the food truck that I used to go to. He was mad chill. He always had my shit in the bag ready for me. When I would hop off the train, do the eye contact, he'd be like, got you. Give him the bread, walk off. Fuck the line. He always had my back. I appreciate you. Don't even remember the man's name. But if I were to get a boiled egg from him and I could eat half of the yolk from that. Something about it being cold, I think, made the difference. I don't fucking know. Okay. I get it's weird. It's a quirk. But I don't want to cook. I don't enjoy it. So if I don't have relatively healthy shit at a quick access to me, or that's easily prepared or delivered to the house, I'm not going to do it. And I already know that's me. I'm fucking lazy. And it's just what works easiest for me. Do you think science has anything with your science background? Do you use any of that in your cooking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Really? More specifically, when it comes to like how I incorporate things, I'm a big, so that's kind of like a twofold situation. One, I'm a big textural person. So I like things that like, I find that it's more palatable when texturally you have things that kind of go together.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
Right. So, and I know that doesn't sound so science, but after cooking and heat time and holding and blah 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 blah, that's really what it boils down to, right? And then another thing is like I'm really big now on like feeding you for a fucking reason, right? Like
Okay.
I get that. Here's the thing. I fuck with people like you, right? You don't want to cook, cool, come holler at me. That's fine. Because I understand you don't either have the time, you don't have the know-how, or you just don't fucking want to, right? So you need something to get you through to blah, 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 because you just need to worry about eating. Well, I'm supposed to be the one that's worried about what I'm feeding. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's the whole bit for me. So it's like, I'm not going to give you, I'm going to fill you the fuck up. I'm going to give you portion size. I'm going to give you, I'm damn near going to Michelle Obama school food chart your ass. Right?
Okay.
like for real. I'm not going to give you, I'm not even going to have it possible on the menu for you to get, 8 to 10 ounces of protein next to 6 ounces, 8 ounces of motherfucking starch next to some another fucking carb and cover it with some cheese or some. But I'm not even gonna give you the fucking option. I'm not going to give you the option, right? I'm going to give you something that's going to appeal to you,
right?
Whether it be familiar to you or not. It's going to appeal to you in some way. It's going to be. And I hate to say it like this because this is the demographic that I serve. But one of the first questions I get is how much you give me for that? Because you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. So it's going to be enough. You know what I mean? Real shit. It's going to be enough. I'm not going to Chinese food you. You're not going to be hungry again in 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going. You're going to be cool. I'm not going to break your pocket. Blah 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 blah. But I'm also going to make sure that like, hey man, you're getting your green in there somewhere today. Yeah. Like, you remember how your grandma or your mom used to make you put a green on that motherfucker? Like, it's in there. Yeah. You might not, you know what I mean? It might not be as simple as a piece of some arugula that you can remove. It might be cooked into your shit. It might be, you get what I'm saying? Like, it might be something. Yeah. Right. But it's going to be, and it's going to be something fucking intentional. So like, I would say that would be the only science related situation I do, and that's more food science. That's more like health related type shit. So
okay. Yeah. Do you prefer personal chefing or like corporate restaurant chefing?
Damn, that's rough. Personal chefing is cool because I like how in those situations people tend to ask more questions or give a little bit more of a fuck about the food, right? But again, like that's my job. So if I'm in a situation where I'm not in that demographic, like that's what I'm supposed to bring to the demographic. Corporate shit, I don't necessarily like so much. What I like now is independently owned, brown preferably, but in the independently owned situations, because I like to connect with the people. You know what I mean? In some way, even if you come to this restaurant 10 times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're just gonna come because you're like, oh man, this food is so motherfucking good, and this is, the price point ain't that bad, whatever. But by that 10th time, like, you're going to be fucking invested, right? Like, you're going to, when you see the menu change, or when you see that same cook back there, or when you see the same chef walking by or walking past the table, like, that kind of shit starts to matter, right? That's, relationship type shit, right? Like, that's more so where I'm at now, because I spend a lot of time sacrificing, like, purpose for bread.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel as good as like having somebody tell you that, like, oh man, something like, I have a cousin, something as simple as, my cousin Tay, and Tay is going to watch this. So what up, Tay?
Hey, Tay.
What up, though?
I have a cousin Tay.
Tay gonna watch this. Like my cousin Tay, that nigga, he tells me all the time, man, you make me eat some shit I don't never think. But like, that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing for me. Eventually, you're gonna trust me enough to like, let me try this shit over here. Or the chef special got some weird shit in it. I don't care. He made the last 12 things I had over here, and the bitches was banging. I'm gonna try this weird shit, and it's gonna bang
You
too.
mentioned that was actually one of the coolest food experiences I've personally ever had. We went to and he took me to Miami for my birthday to like I think it was last year. It was last year, not this birthday. And we went to this spot called Biblos. I fucking love Biblos. And they had the option of doing a chef's tasting. I'd never done it before. So I'm like, fuck it, we're gonna do it. We're gonna spend a little bread, let's have a good time. And it was so fucking cool. You had like each course that came out, we had no clue what it was gonna be. It was just you trusting these niggas in the back, fuck it up. They're gonna do what they can. And what I appreciated about it, it goes right back to what I said in the beginning. It's like, what do you enjoy making? What is your shit? Like, what are you good at? What do you enjoy? Like, where is the passion for you? Because I feel like if you get to choose what I'm going to eat, you're either going to do something that is easy for you. So I'm trusting that it's going to be good, or something you're passionate about. Yeah, you're going to, I feel like, and at that point, it's like one of those, you're going to show out. Like, you're going to show your ass. Like, this is your opportunity to shine. Like, if you're passionate about what it is that you do, you can't lose in this situation. That was the most fun. And even the waitress was kind of like, oh, these are good. So we got these for you here. And this one, you can pair it with this. And this is what this is. And she explained what everything is. And she's pointing out, I know what most of the shit we was eating was. But I think food can absolutely be an adventure. And I feel like it's another one of these reasons why travel is so much more than vacation. I am more inclined to try something new when I am someplace different. If I know that I'm not going to have access to this at home, or if I know that there's something special about what it is that they do here versus I could get a hot dog with fucking onions and some chili on it and put some mustard on it. That's exactly what the fuck the coney was. But I don't know that I'm exactly going to do it the way these motherfuckers out here are going to do it. So I'm going to try it. I've never had the gumption to want to put those things together, but we're here. So I'm going to fucking try it because this is something I know I'm not going to do back home. We had the best oysters I've ever had in my life. And I used to take myself on oyster dates. I would go by myself, order like 2 dozen oysters, give me a water, because at this point, I'm already spending $70. I ain't got no money for a drink at this point.
Right.
Give me these oysters. The best oysters I ever had were $1.95 a piece, and every last one of them came from fucking Maine. Them shits was wild good, but to your point, access. It's Maine. So all this fucking water here. So yes, but granted, the oysters that I had gotten were in Long Island. Also mad water. It's an island. However, the ones in Maine were much better, also much cheaper. But again, access. And I think that one of the things that people tend to do is be a little more adventurous when they travel. And for me, that turns into like food adventure. But I would offer for the listeners that's fucking with us today, try that shit at home. Try a new restaurant nearby. Like you don't have to travel to step outside of your comfort zone. You absolutely have that opportunity to do it where you're at. Even if you do a road trip to the neighboring state, a state next door, a city next door, just try someplace fucking new. And I really, really think that if you also just talk to the people around you, that's how I met this nigga. Talk to people, say hello, ask questions, and you'd be surprised what's out there. What you got to leave the people with, Cori?
Well, I'll say this. First of all, you know, D, you're the shit, yo. Like it's you meet people and it's like, no, that's gonna be the homie, bro. Like
I've made some of the coolest fucking friends doing this podcast, man.
Yeah. And see, and I honestly like the way you feel about the travel shit. Like that's how I feel about this food shit, right? Like it's just go fucking see it. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody literally just text me right now. You cooking tomorrow? That's I like shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Like this is you know what I mean? But no. So I want to express that gratitude because since it's been a lot of shit going on since the last time since I saw you and Jay, and I've honestly been looking for. I done told people about y'all. I done sent the podcast to motherfuckers.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like.
What's poppin', new niggas? Welcome.
Listen, I'm sending look, all of you niggas. I'm sending this to y'all, and they're going to watch it, and they're going to fuck with you. I'm trying to tell you. But no, so I wanted to, I first wanted to express that because you're the shit. Your energy's dope. You can just tell you're a good fucking person, and you got
Thank
a little
you.
light, you know, and it's dope. It's
Thank
pretty
you.
dope when you're shining on other motherfuckers. You know what I mean? So I wanted to say that. Also wanted to say what up though to Jay again because I ain't see him. I know he gonna edit.
Yeah, he in there cooking now.
Right, see what I mean? So I'll get over this the shameless plug portion of this first. So
Gone. Ain't no shame in it. Yeah.
You feel me? There's the Corner Boy Cafe. So
Hey, I'm
you're
a
in
order.
Detroit, you feel me? Whenever you're in Detroit, you know what I mean? Look up Corner Boy Cafe. You'll find something dope wherever I'm at. I do have a curated dinner party program called Hank 1937, named after my grandfather who was the chef. But that's the super intentional. That's not the street food. That's an elevated experience, but it's curated to the point where it's an educational experience that's not going to be boring. You're going to leave with some knowledge, but you're going to leave full as hell. And you're going to leave feeling good about the people that you're in the room with because that's how curated this motherfucker is, right? So look out for that. I'm obviously tapped in with you, so I'll send you all of that, the new dates, the sponsorship. We'll touch base about that again, all the other shit. So I do have some things coming up. But my main thing that I just want to just say to anybody, I guess, is it don't take all that, right? Like it don't like. I have this thing. It's just like, you know, no matter how you grew up, where you grew up, who you love, who you pray to, whatever, right? Everybody got to fucking eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for all intents and purposes, I believe that most people would prefer to eat well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's about what you consider or what you know well to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just try some shit, ask some questions, read some shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to. Again,
read
I say
a
a lot of
book,
this.
read a book, read a motherfucking book.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a Boondocks reference. If y'all niggas don't know.
Man, that's crazy. Wow. That's that was funny. I know I say a lot of the shit that I've said tonight coming from a place of knowledge, which is giving me access, which is, you know, I mean, giving me a little bit more paper to play, you know, do some other things. So I understand that. But this food shit is so serious. Like I'm not, you know, going to, you know, be the conspiracy theorist and like, you know, tell you what the proposed agenda is because I don't know what it is, but it's fucking something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's something. We're at the point now where like you gotta be intentional about this shit, what you're putting in your body. And I'm not even saying that from a person. I just had McDonald's yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even saying no, for real. You know what I mean? I'm not even coming from an unrealistic place, right? I understand where a lot of us are. I understand that, you know, that whether it be I don't know how to cook or I don't have the time or blah, blah, blah. I understand everybody's everything, right? I get all that. But this shit is actually serious. Even when you get down to the food industry business aspect of it, like, and this is where I gotta go back to the black shit. So my bad. Not my
Ain't
bad.
no bad. We do, yeah. Don't do that.
Right.
Pause on that. Go on.
If you look at specifically Black American shit, right? And I'm focusing on Black American thing because right now it's cool. Like with if you listen to like if you pay attention to a lot of like music trends, you can see a lot of food trends coming. Meaning like where the sound is. You know how Afro beats is a really big thing right now for people. You also started noticing that you've seen more Afro-Caribbean cuisine spots, more Jamaican spots, more, you know what I mean, more Nigerian spots, whatever on the scene, because like it's cool now to support those people. Yes, they need support. Yes, all of that. I support them. I love them too. But you know, sushi spots, Asian spots, Greek spots, blah, 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 right? There's this thing where like Black American cuisine is like they're almost trying to like shove us out the way. They're almost trying to like act like we don't exist. Almost like with the film industry. Damn it, this is going weird.
No, it's not.
Almost like with the film industry where you see a lot of like Black Brits playing like Black Americans,
Yeah.
right? And you know, they win an award and it's a Black first and it's a blah blah blah. And it's like, is it though? Because that's a distinctly different thing, right? And I'm not taking anything away from, you know,
No,
what I'm
I get
saying,
what you mean.
my brothers and sisters from different backgrounds who are easily identifiable. You know what I mean? Like I was telling someone the other day, like, you know, Africa not the motherland to me. Alabama is, because I know more niggas. You know what I mean? That's not no diss. That's just, I'm just saying I can trace my shit back to Alabama. Boom. You know what I mean? I ain't done the swab in the ancestry joint, so I can't give you my blah 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 breakdown. Versus a frat brother of mine who knows exactly what village his blah 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 came from, because he can't. You know what I mean? Like this it's a motherfucking difference, right? So not to go too far, but I'm just saying, like, there's a certain amount of the Black American experience that's kind of getting pushed out of the way, right? And if you just stick to the food scene, if you go to all of these places, it's a brother in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like there's no, you know what I mean? It's a brother in the kitchen. There's a brother touching something that's touching your plate.
Yeah.
Flat the fuck, right? But there's this thing where, even more so than the fact that there's not even a lot of Black chefs in those places and blah, 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 blah. There's this thing where just the actual Black American cuisine is being kind of pushed off. When I found out a few years ago, there was a spot in New York that was selling $50 chitlin plates, a posh little white-owned blah, blah, blah spot. It was chitlins, but it was, because of what they weren't calling it chitlins, but because of what they called it, because of how they dressed it, because of how they plated it, it was a $50 plate. You get what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah.
There's a certain, this is why I wasn't supposed to go there. So
We're here now.
I'm gonna leave. But there, and I say all that to say, like, there's just a certain amount of our experience that is just kind of being pushed aside, right? And the correlation between that and the food is so strong, because we're at the point where it's like, from a health standpoint, when it comes to all that foul shit, the stomach cancers and the prostate cancers and the blah, 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 and the stomach disease and the high cholesterol and the high blood pressure and the diabetes, and that's all us. You know what I'm saying? There is, I'm sure somebody in your family, a grandmother, a great grandparent, about somebody that you know lived to 90 something years old, right?
My daddy's side lived a long damn time. Shout
You
out
see what I'm
to
saying?
yeah. My
But
aunt just celebrated 96.
The shit your aunt grew up eating is not the shit me and you grew up eating.
Sure not.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like there is this thing where, like, there was a shift, how your aunt grew up eating, and how your grandma or grandparent or whatever grew up eating is not how your mom grew up eating, is not how you grew up eating. Right? Like it's been a step down every motherfucking time.
Yeah. Look at these kids now. They're fucking adult-sized children.
No, for real. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, and that goes back to what I'm saying. Like, it matters what you're fucking putting into your shit, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's a certain amount of our experience that's kind of like being pushed out. They report all the numbers of us being fat and dying young and doing all this shit and being addicted to whatever and blah, 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 blah. But there's not a bunch of numbers on, like, well, look at what the fuck I'm eating at 5 o'clock when I get off of work in a more populated area, and I'm back in the hood now. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a
right.
We're kind of we're getting fucked over, and then we're getting blamed for it as well. So it's like it's a weird thing. And I'm not, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go through all of that. But as far as leaving something with the people, like, just fuck, honestly, if you don't, I don't give a fuck if you never look up Corner Boy. I don't give a fuck if I never feed you. If you just be more intentional about feeding yourself after this, like, thank you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just real shit. Like, there is an agenda. I don't know what the fuck it is. I'm not gonna put a label on it, but just know that there is one. And just do your best to not, like, succumb to that motherfucker, right? Like, take care of yourself. What'd you say about self-care? It's not all about the manis and petties and the blah, blah, blah. Like for real, yo. Read a book, eat a vegetable. I know that sounds damn near elitist and fucked up, but like, read a book and eat a vegetable and try some new shit. You know what I mean? Maybe replace something in your diet with some shit. You don't have to go from I eat McDonald's 3 times a day to a vegan. It's unrealistic.
Right.
That's not cost efficient. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not even, you know what I'm saying? It's like I tell motherfuckers all the time, thank God for McDonald's. Because there was a time I couldn't do shit but the dollar menu, son.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's not a diss to anybody and anything, and I'm saying there's not a separation or any type of elitist or like, well, now, yeah, you a chef talking, nigga. Yeah, cool. But I also know that there's ways to do this shit without fucking yourself over, without breaking the bank, without, you know what I mean? There's stuff around you. Tap into some resources, man. Look at some of these markets. And if you got to go to the market that's in your neighborhood, I will leave you with this. If you got to go to the market that's in your neighborhood, just purchase from the back. All the fresher shit goes in the back. If they're doing their first in, first out right properly, what they're supposed to do is the new product comes in and it goes behind the old product, so the old product sells faster. So skim through the dates.
That's one thing my mama always taught me. You check them motherfucking dates on everything. Through the dates. So if you reach for a package of motherfucking, let's just say, I don't know, motherfucking squash, right? Because you're gonna get some squash. And they're already packaged in the you know what I mean, with the tray with the cellophane and shit, and that's in the book. Yeah, like the one that already the pre-sliced stuff already.
Exactly. Now that Whole Foods, we're at our grocery store right now. Okay. Right. If you go into that motherfucker, make sure if the first one is the 16th, make sure the one behind that motherfucker is like the 17th and the 18th and 19th, blah, 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 whatever. But then just reach from the back. You know what I mean? It's the fresher shit. It's supposed to be anyway. Keep them honest. Keep these motherfuckers honest. And again, I'll say this too. Start speaking the fuck up. Like when you go to the grocery store and you go to grab that chicken and you're like, damn, I ain't even gonna grab no chicken tonight because it's fucked up. Don't just leave the motherfucking store. Tell that motherfucker, hey man, I can't even get no chicken tonight because your chicken fucked up. Yeah. Enough people do that, they're gonna stop putting fucked up chicken on their motherfucking shelf or in that motherfucking cooler because they're gonna stop selling it. Right. You know what I mean? Keep them honest. If you're in one of those situations where you know, like we talked about earlier, where else am I gonna go? Cool. You can't go nowhere else. Make them step their shit up. It might not be an immediate thing. You do it enough, it's gonna be. Right. You know what I mean? So it'll happen. Yeah, we do all this shit. We do so much planning and research and blah blah to do other shit. Like one thing you do the most is eat, my baby. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you might just take a little bit more time, a little bit more consideration with that shit. I guarantee you a lot of this stuff, you will feel the fuck better. It's not about having a look. It's not about a 6-pack. It's not about the body. It's not about the weight. It's not about none of that shit. It's about how you fucking feel. And you feel better when you put better shit inside of you. The end. There you go. Slow change is still change. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's fire. Absolutely. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go. I feel like I went left a whole lot, and I'm sorry, but it's cool because somebody needed it. Yeah, but the problem is it's not really me. It's not me being a scatterbrain. It ain't this weed. And it's you, right? Because you're a layered motherfucker, man. Like you got like sometimes I'm consuming this part, but I want to respond to this part that you didn't even know you gave me. You know what I'm saying? Like this is your shit. You're dope. You're very dope at this. This is tight. Thank you, man. I'm so glad you weren't just a cool person that like wasn't any good at what they do. Right. Like, so am I. So the fuck am I. How whack would that be? That shit would have been terrible. What's up? That shit, but it was really like fucking. You know what I feel like? I feel like you came to the crib because that's where I'm at. I feel like you came to the crib. I like to say. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you came over to the crib and you don't, you know what I'm saying, do what I do, but I feel like I smoked the blunt with you, around you. Right. And we chilled, I wish. And we chilled and we had a good time this was dope and I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
the admiration is mutual. I am so glad that I actually was friendly me that day, and I asked fucking questions because you were so fucking dope. And I absolutely what we talked about earlier. Absolutely, will follow up. And if there's any way I can help, nigga, I'm here. So I'm gonna stop on the recording. We gonna kick it afterwards. So travelshitpodcast.com. All the links are gonna be in the description. We'll definitely keep you up to date when Cori does the elevated, the not food truck food experience, the curated experience. We'll definitely keep you up to date with that. Links in the description box. We're gonna have Cori's IG down there, and thanks for fucking with us, y'all. This was a great fucking episode. I hope y'all appreciated it. Try something new and eat a motherfucking vegetable and read a book. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all niggas next week. This was so Bob. All right, y'all. Bye.